All right, y'all. It's time to give a shout out to the host with the most. You can catch him on the Transatlantic livestream with Brickhive, on the Backlog with Cy O'Connor, or holding it down on London Calling. I'm talking about the one and only Greg from LBB, keeping the community bonded by the brick, one stream at a time. This was not a paid advertisement for the Cali Brick Clique, but it's looking like the gun is off to a fresh start.
No, country's different. Our country's huge. Everywhere's different.
Well, I know that's not like that either. Everyone's good, ready? In 5, 4, 3.
Hello and welcome back to Cali Brick Clique. We are on episode 79. We are post Brickworld. We are excited. We are here with SHYtimeisMytime, Ninja, and Tek from Planet TEK, Tek Productions, Tek. Anyway, Tomas, nice to see you a few days after I said goodbye. And basically, if anyone doesn't know, Tek came to see us at Brickworld Chicago. Ninja wasn't there, but we're going to keep going, you guys. It's 2 weeks out. 2 weeks out, we're still talking about Brickworld Chicago. And
it was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. We had a great time. We're still high on it. Like, get over it. Turn off. Go to last week. No, not you. I'm telling the listeners if they don't want to hear anything about it.
Just skip next.
Yeah, and it's not just that, but it's like we're having a good time. Isn't this like what you would want out of like a layer convention as well?
Yeah, it's post convention mode.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
All right, before we get into like everything else, Ninja, how do you, for someone who didn't come, how does it feel to watch your feeds on Instagram or YouTube be, well, more so on Instagram right now, like in the beginning of it, because it's kind of easier to post content there because quick versus people posting long vlogs on YouTube. So at this point, I'm assuming that a lot has already come out. So how do you feel now seeing everything or attempting to?
That's tough because like I'm not really on my Instagram that much right now because like I don't know. Yeah, I don't really see it that much. I don't know. It doesn't bother me. It's kind of like with the kids, you know what I'm saying? I get enjoyment seeing my friends having fun too, you know? I don't have to be there. I'm not that. I mean, it would have been cool if I went out there, of course, you know what I'm saying? But it's cool to see. Yeah, it's just cool to see the stuff I didn't get to see, you know? Like, oh, damn, the builds and stuff. So I don't mind. But personally, me, like I'm not really logged into my Instagram, so maybe I'm not the best person to ask right now. So it's not really like overflowing my stuff. So.
I think a lot to do with it is that there's such a, this time around in comparison to like years before when I used to pay attention to other people going to conventions, is that there were 2 or maybe 3 if you want to count the Twitchers too, but like very large Lego communities in different platforms kind of like smacked into one. And like there was a lot of crossover as far as like filming / taking pictures. So like normally you would see like just the like one platform taking, or groups on a specific platform taking pictures of just each other. So if you're following like those people, you'll just see the same circular rounds of photos together or content. But this time around, you're seeing like Instagram posting people on YouTube posting pictures with Instagram, like Twitchers like putting stuff out like with whatever on their social platforms or TikTok and all that kind of stuff. So like you're seeing like a conglomerate of like the same photo in like a million different places because everybody's tagged in that one spot.
That's true. See, the one thing I do regret missing was Brent getting his $2 back. That's what I'm saying.
I can't believe that happened.
That's never gonna happen again.
No, I'm excited. Well, I mean, you probably saw it by now, but like when Sean told me that it happened and showed me the video, I was like, "Whoa, you did it!" Brikx is pretty cool in real life.
Really pleasant guy.
Not about that torment.
Yeah. The fact that he played along with it was pretty fun. So not gave him coins, but I mean that's like his own little slap to it, which was good. Yeah. So sorry, maybe one day, Ninja. I mean, you were there in spirit. Yeah. You know, like I said, Rod kept saying sheesh when we were at Brickmania, so I did think of you when I was over there.
Sheesh. But did anybody hit the cold-blooded?
A lot of people are asking about you, which is really nice. A lot of people like who are fans of this podcast, thank you for coming and saying hello and giving us your thoughts and telling us that like Sans ruined that one episode. I haven't told him yet. I can't wait.
But to harp on what like Claire just said, yes, there were a couple of you who listened to this that came up to me and said that you really enjoyed the podcast. And it's not this thing isn't a big thing like at all. but there's a good chunk of you who tune in like consistently every week, or at least attempt to, or we play us in the background with whatever you're doing. So I look at it like this: like I would rather have 600 people who listen like a majority of the time versus like thousands of people who just listen to like 5% of it. And it's like you're really talking to a group of people, like imagine just sitting down on a hall of 600 people just listen to what you have to say. So I really appreciate that, and for us to be there with whatever you're doing, either mowing the grass or building Lego or whatever, and also like appreciate that we all kind of wing it every week. It truly does mean a lot, and we didn't really realize that. At least I didn't until some of you who do listen to this podcast came up to us at Brickworld Chicago, because we do have a lot of just they don't say anything. Like there's I kind of forget that like
the lurkers, man.
Yeah, the lurk game is serious, and with me specifically, and Claire was right. Like I kind of just whatever she told me like in the past about my audience being young, she's definitely right. Like I didn't realize how much of a young audience I do have until I went to like World War Brick and a little bit of Brickworld Chicago, but I definitely understood my demographic going to World War Brick more so. Like I met so many people that like make a dumb money. Like they never say anything. And there's so many people that like, yeah, I watch your videos, but I don't really comment. I'm like, because I always that's my thing. Like when you ask me, oh, I watch your videos, I'm like, oh, what's your handle? If you don't tell me your actual, if you just tell me your real name. Yeah, I'm like, if you just tell me your real name. Yeah.
But I watch so much content, not in Lego, and even Lego. I watch so much content that I don't comment on, and I think a lot of people do that because you're like doing something else, you're like folding laundry, you're doing other things. Yes. Unless like it's like a live stream or something, like I don't really comment that much. So like I totally get it. I think it makes complete sense and stuff. Yeah. And I mean, it is Lego content after all. But to be fair, I have very rarely, I can like count on one hand how many kids have come up to me. I have a lot of adults that come up to me and they're like, I really like your like architect review stuff. And I'm like, I haven't uploaded in like 2 years. My channel's not so that's really nice and stuff. And like there were even people who came up to Tek.
I know. Right? What's that about? Like I've got like 600 subs on my most active channel that I haven't posted in like 3 months. Like what is that about? But no, it's nice, and it does it absolutely breaks down like that barrier of, like Shy was saying, like all those people that watch. Like if you think about it, like even if you get like a couple of hundred views on a video or whatever, and you might get like 10, 15 comments, there's still a lot of people that are still regularly tuning in and like don't leave comments and things like that. So, and it's nice when those people come up to you and you can kind of have a chat. And yeah, it was a surreal experience for sure. But yeah, even just getting recognized a few times, it was awesome. It was weird. I didn't quite know how to handle it. I definitely hadn't practiced signing anything, and I got asked for a few signatures. So I'm there like, what do I do? But yeah, no, it was really sweet. It was a great experience for sure. But like, I mean, the main thing for me going over there was to meet like the people that I had interacted with a lot, you guys. And just our general friendship group and stuff, and honestly it was the greatest experience that I wouldn't trade for absolutely anything. Like I think we all had such a great time. Ninja, I wish you could have been there. Like I said, hopefully
it's gonna happen. Yeah, I can't miss out again.
Luckily he lives next to Disneyland, so it's cool.
Perfect.
Yeah,
see, one way or another we're gonna meet up.
It's gonna happen. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely like a really like heartwarming experience, and there's like, I thought Shy put it well, like there's definitely so many different creators that are there, like in different platforms. Like there's obviously mock builders, which are, the star of the show, and then there are Lego Masters, which really have a strong hit with like the general public, because like so many people go into the Lego store with their families and they know the Lego Masters and stuff like that. Then there's like the YouTube creators, there's the TikTokers, Twitch streamers, there's so many, and then the Instagrammers, of course. And it's really cool. And it's funny how like people are friends with whatever platform they mostly spend time with. Just there's definitely like crossover, like there's Lego Masters that were content creators and vice versa and stuff like that. And so it's kind of fun to see that, but it's really interesting how you're like, okay, well, I chose this platform, therefore my interaction, my friends are with this platform, but of course everyone talks to everybody else, and it's a ton of fun. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I do think that, okay, so like if we were to talk about kind of like expectations versus reality with like meeting people, Tek, what were your biggest disappointments? And like, granted, like out of our like larger group of friends, you were kind of one of the last ones to meet everybody simply because of your international, like, you know, status, I guess. Yeah. Like, what was that? Like, what was the most disappointing thing? And it's okay if you say that it was Sans. And then
honesty is the key.
Okay. What was like the most heartwarming thing? And that's also okay if you say Sans. So I'm just
I guess unfortunately I probably would have to say this on both counts. Like, he can be a dick, but he can also be like the sweetest guy. So Sans probably gets both answers on that. No, like I wouldn't say I was ever like apprehensive about meeting you guys. Like, I feel like I know, especially like Claire, we speak all the time, we stream together like every week and stuff, so I didn't ever feel like particularly nervous, or like I was aware that you guys have obviously all met before and there's going to be some form like of an established relationship there, but I mean, credit to all you guys, you made me feel like super welcome, not that I expected any differently. And I think in terms of Sans, him being in his element, like you could see of just like how much of a great time that he was having, and I think that definitely like it showed, and like I said, he was super inclusive. He was like bringing me over when he was chatting to people. Like you said, Sans might be a bit of an introvert, but definitely not when it comes to a LEGO convention.
LEGO convention, he's super extroverted. No, when we got back from when I picked him up from the airport and we got back, he kept saying your name over and over again. He's like, "Where's Tek? Where's Tek? Where's Tek? I want to see Tek." And we were like avoiding people because he had like just come from like kind of a crappy experience to see you and stuff.
No,
which is like, you never would guess of something like that with like some, you know, especially for the people on this podcast who watch us, who have only known him from his like 2 episodes and then just ripping poor Joey a new one.
I feel like that's an iconic episode now.
Exactly. Poor Joey.
Point, yes. Poor Joey.
I don't think Joey likes it. That's
maybe not in a good way. Iconic.
Yeah.
That's his claim to fame right now until he does something else.
Yeah. But anyway, I'll speak a little bit about my experience. So Brick Fair Virginia was like my big first LEGO convention. And at that point I had met already like Ryan and Sans, and then I met a ton of new people. So I actually preferred this experience because it wasn't like it was like a, hey, how are you doing? So happy to see you again. And to me, it's like a much better feeling. Granted, also like my channel, even though like I don't post very much, it is twice the size that it was when I went to Brick Fair. So that's also like a huge plus. And so there was like, I had a little bit more notoriety, but I think there were like more adults at this convention. This is going to sound weird. I think there were more adult content creators at Brickworld Chicago versus just like the young guys, like the teenage guys. Like I found myself spending a lot of time with like Empire Lug and Rebel Lug at Brick Fair Virginia. And I mean, I'm like a fish out of water over there. You know, like not only is it like not my demographic age or like, you know, I don't know, societal or whatever you want to call it. And it's also like, I don't know, you know, shit from Shinola when it comes to like Star Wars. And so like that's like where I'm surrounding myself with. While here there was like tons of people that were like our age, and there was like all these different mocks from like different themes. I'd also talked to the Hanlons, and they said that this specific Brickworld Chicago is the best one that they've ever been to. Specifically, like the mocks were some bounds better than years prior.
Yeah. Okay.
And they've been going for over 10 years.
Well, people had like what, 2 years to build their mocks now.
Yes, and I think there's a lot of new people in the hobby in that time. Okay. Yeah. I think also like, I don't know, it was definitely like very interesting. It was very interesting. There's also like the Flickr group of people too. Like Joey, walking around with Joey was like fun. He's like, oh, I recognize these people from Flickr because he's like, you know, still active there. So it's kind of interesting to see really relevant. platform.
But you said it clearly, and we mentioned it, I think, on Kate's episode with, we feel like the Instagrammers, a lot of them, they're more in our like age demographic. You just said it. So like with them, full blown, like right into it, especially with the Flickr people and like just like the amount of people that can afford to be able to like make the type of stuff that's there. Level it out in comparison to like Virginia, because I do understand where you're coming from just by watching all the content of people there, that there's a lot of young bro energy versus like here it's more balanced with everything, but it's more noticed that you see like, oh, all these people, they all have like established careers or whatever. They're more like something that we can talk about aside from Lego. We could have a general conversation. So that's one thing about it. But like the hype of, I think the whole thing about what makes Chicago awesome is the people who showed up. Like you could have the same amount of like impact as like crowd, but if you didn't know anybody, it's very like hard to like, intermingle with the conversation unless you get yourself out there or unless someone pulls you in. And that's the thing with these conventions. Like they can be the biggest convention in the world, but if like, or it can be the smallest convention in the world, but if all your friends go to the smallest convention, that's going to be the more fun one, regardless of what.
Yeah, so like if you have a few friends online that you talk to and that you can coordinate to go to a convention, just go to the one that you guys can all go to. Like don't go to the, like, you know what I mean? Don't go to the one that everybody else goes to. Go to the one that you guys can go to, because that's like the best thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I think like from speaking to Lauren specifically, who's now done Virginia and Chicago, her opinions are very much like the logistics of Chicago seem to be a lot better, like the infrastructure of like areas to hang out, just generally that aren't specifically in the convention hall, just like local amenities as well, just a bit more accessible in Chicago. I now can't remember what my point was going to be about all that. But I think fundamentally what I was going to say is that it doesn't actually matter. Like you said, if you pull a group of people together that you're cool with, and I think that's why we had such a good time. We had like a immediate friend group that were all getting in at different times. So we had time, or at least for me, I had time to kind of spend with each person individually at different times. Like me and Lauren spent most of the first day together, and we dropped her mock off. We went over to the Woodford Mall. We were sat in the food hall in the mall for like 2 hours, just like having lunch, just chatting, and it was really, really nice. And I got to have that experience across the weekend with multiple different people in our intermediate group. And then we would have the areas where we could go in the lobby and just socialize with a wider group of people, which was really fun as well. So yeah, in terms of that, I think it was a really, really valuable experience that I very much appreciate.
If I were to, so I did 2 conventions. I did World War Brick right before, and then I did Brickworld Chicago right afterwards. Both totally different in size comparison and people that showed up. But I had a great time at World War Brick as well because of the people who showed up. Like because of the conversations that I had. Like a small convention does do the same thing and what you can get out of a large one like Brickworld Chicago. Like it really just depends on the people that you get to converse with and the fact that you could have fun. There are other ways to have fun. Like conventions in all we all go there for like the mocks and the bricks, and it's great to like see Lego for what it is and the creations behind it. But that only does so much. That's why you see on the public days, like people go in for like an hour to 3 hours and then they're done and they're gone. Yeah, like, well, there's 70,000 people showed up on Saturday. Like parking alone that day was crazy. Like they also had like 4 weddings at the same time, but like there was nowhere for you to park. If you left, you could not get back. And like
that's why we ordered food.
Thank you for Claire. If Claire was not doing what she does best, which is putting us together, we'd all be effed. Like.
Yeah, for sure.
No way. It would just be a lot of Chick-fil-A.
Don't play it down. Like, if I was even like to think about being, like, even consider taking on for a day Claire's role, if Claire didn't bat an eyelid if someone was like, "Oh no, I'm not going to eat there. I'm going to eat here." She was like, "Okay, cool. I'll find you. I'll order that as well." Like, just the flexibility that Claire provided for such like a group of initially 10 to 15 people, 11. Maybe. Like
15 people minimum.
Yeah, and it was just like I would have just been like, look, you're eating here, or you don't eat at all, sort yourself out. Like,
she gave us water when we were all hating life at Brikx and Minifix. Like, we were all hating it. We're like, oh my gosh, it's so hot in here. Why the hell are we still here?
Well, I'll tell you exactly what happened at that Brikx Minifix. I go up to the guy who owns it. I was like, is there any Belleville? He was like, no, I think it's creepy. I was like, bye. So I walked to the grocery store across the street, bought some like Smart Waters, and came back. I was like, this guy's annoying.
That Smart Water saved us all to keep us hydrated, to walk from the Lego store all the way like 10 blocks or whatever to the river. So it's like that, like stuff like that. Like just want to let you know, like, please, like, you are definitely appreciated, and if we didn't have you, we'd all be screwed.
No, I know, I feel it. Thank you very much. No, it's like I enjoy. It's like my love language. I love like to bring people together and stuff, and I have a lot of experience. Like, it's quite literally I take on the same approach as I do with like project management and like multitasking. My favorite is that Sans loves to tell me that I don't know how to multitask.
You were okay. To be fair, I feel like you were like the director to like Ryan's stream.
Well, no, he thinks that was probably like one. He thinks that's why it didn't work.
Oh, because what are you talking about? It was a success.
Front row was like talking to them too much. I'm like, if it wasn't for us, you wouldn't even know that your volume wasn't on.
Yeah.
Damn.
While we're talking about that, and we were talking about, Shy mentioned about like doing other things outside of the convention. I was meant to say this on the stream that I did, but it's more likely to get back to the people that I want to address this to. Honestly, thank you to Brickmania for hosting all of us at the pizza party that they had. It's not something that I'm like hugely invested in with like their product. I can appreciate it. I know Shy's like a huge fan of it, and they were all like super happy and to like see us all there and chat with us all. They made sure they come around to everyone and had a really nice conversation with all of us. So that I was just like super appreciative of how welcome they made us, and also to Whatnot as well for inviting us on the Top Golf evening. They were again also super friendly. We were there with Ryan. Ryan was allowed to bring a few guests and just bought his like rent a crowd of people. And we had such a good time, like just playing Top Golf.
You realized that we were Shy's. Well, technically, like Brickmania invited Shy and I to like they invited Cali Brick. Like obviously Ninja would have been invited, and I was like, I might bring some people, and Shy was the same thing. And so like they are like
plus ones.
Yeah, exactly. The rent a crowd apparently is what we
exactly. We showed up in numbers in carloads.
No, exactly. Like, do you know how surreal that moment was for me specifically to see all of you in a Brickmania store? I'm like,
I've been that's the second Brickmania
store. But I'm talking about everybody else. Like, I would have never, ever in a million years, like, think like if Emily and like Ross showed up to that, I would have been like, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm good. They made it inside a Lego military location, but like everyone else, see Holly Tech. Like, I already know Lauren's already bought a few things, so that kind of made sense. But like Ryan and like Rod.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing here, dog? Like, what are you doing in here, man? You're a Lego Star Wars, like. But like just to see like even like Brent and like Sean, like a couple of brickheads, like they were like buying stuff, and everyone was trying to buy Macro. Like he bought a book.
Dude, you're an influencer. You're a Lego military influencer, Shy. It's like you gotta own it.
I gotta embrace that. But like it was just cool. Like I'm like, okay, these guys like are. Because you guys, I mean, I know you guys watch every now and then for about the military stuff, but like I don't peg you or hold that like to you to be able to like to really love that type of content. But to see you in the store looking at it, like I know it was free pizza, but like you're enjoying the ambiance of what it is, that made me like seriously very happy. And I was talking to him about that. I'm like, yo, see these 8 people right here? Never in a million years thought they would come into the store.
Yeah, but it was nice, and it was nice to also witness you like in your element, like, and you in a place that you like as friends, like that's really nice to see as well.
Also, like,
thank you.
Yeah, I totally agree. But Brickmania inherently is like a company that I really enjoy supporting. So we went to their opening here in Mare Island, And I was like, I went mostly to see Shy and just to hang out with like Lando and Dan, who we've talked to on this podcast before because they're great. And I go over there and I was just like, Sans likes military stuff as well. You know, he's like very national, like he loves his country. He loves this country's history and like, you know, so I wanted to get him something from there. Anyway, I got him the Indiana Jones set for his birthday. It has nothing to do with this country or whatever, but still though, it's like a very cool set, but it's very expensive. And I wasn't going to get it. But the thing that like pushed me over the line was like, I want to support this company. I like spending my money here. I enjoy it. It makes me happy. I like these people that I support. They seem happy. The people who work here have been working here for a really long time, which is very telling. And so I don't know. I think it's like a really cool company, even though like it seems like a weird niche. You're like, well, why do you need to like have like military Lego? Like, why? Don't even think about it. It's a cool company. They're great. They treat their employees well. People love it. That's it.
And they have more than just that also.
Yeah, and they weren't at all. Like, every one of the Brickmania representatives that I spoke to, they were like, "We're well aware that this is an extremely premium product, and for someone that's not like super into it, they were not pushy at all. It was just about like sharing their experience of why they do it, which was, like Claire said, just makes you want to support the company for sure. Right. So I'll definitely be looking at a few more of their figures along the line.
Their figures. They do like Joan of Arc. They do amazing historic figures and stuff like that. And like I got an Albert Einstein. You know, like you don't like just like really cool, identifiable people. And then I think what's really important, it's like thank you to those that like are heavy supporters of Brickmania to make them comfortable enough that they aren't like, you know, shilling day and night, and that they are like, you know, thank you to those people that are supporting that company, because I'm glad they're afloat, you know, and expanding as quickly as they are.
Yeah, like not to jump on that
business.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what it is. And for me specifically, who actually visited like the backstage behind the scenes of the entire company, they have a lot of people that you don't see on YouTube that do a lot. Like their YouTube channel is like, or not YouTube channel, but like their marketing team is like 6 people, just that. And then there's like their printing, their packaging design. I didn't realize that there's like maybe close to 100 people working in their main location, like just running around doing stuff. And I'm like, that costs money. Like that's not a cheap thing. And you said it that they don't like really like trying to shove anything down your throat. They are literally from the community. Like they love Lego. They love what it is. They know what they are, and they appreciate any dime that comes their way, like anything. So, like I said, I was really, really happy to see like people like within like our friend circles, because there were more than like one that was in there, like really find a reason to try to support them. Like I have a brother who was a Marine. I have my father was in the Air Force. I think he would really appreciate this. Hey, Shy, which one should he get? And I'm like, get that one. But like, they're like, what weapon is this? I'm like, I don't know. Let me look it up. I don't know. But even when we left, like Ryan and Rod were still in the store as we went to go shop. Like they were still there. I didn't think Ryan would stay there longer than he did. Like we all ditched him in the store. So but in all, like I think there's just something about Lego in general that kind of makes us all kind of gravitate to it. Like Bricks and Minifigs. What else was there? Brick Loot was there. I mean, we didn't really do it as a group, but like Lego stores. It's fun just going together, like with friends to a Lego thing and appreciate our general love for the whole hobby. Yeah, and then but there's also a difference there to receive that type of love back, because there was that and there was not. Like when we went to the Bricks and Minifigs, there wasn't really much return back. It was just like, who are you guys? You guys are overwhelming. You know what I mean? And then when you go to a Brickmania store, it's like, have some pizza. We're gonna order more pizza because we ran out of pizza. Yeah. Oh, you know what I mean? Let's talk. You know, there's a big difference in that too. And I think that also translates in the convention space as well. Like there are definitely people who are like, hi, okay, I'm gonna just stick to my group. But there's also a lot of people who are like, hi, what's your name? You know, and those like are really cool to like talk to, like people just to interact with. And then again, there was also a lot of people that we didn't know, which was like tap 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 hug.
Yeah. Shy, how much of like a dirty like salesman, like sleazy salesman were you with Cali Brick Clique? What I want to know. Like,
You've got guests for the next 4 years all lined up.
To be honest, I didn't push it at all.
Oh, no way. I totally thought you were.
No,
like,
I didn't.
Every time I was like, oh man, Shy's going to get us like 40 new guests and just be like chilling.
No, I didn't. I only brought up Cali Brick Clique when it was brought to me. And then I talked about it. So like, and then I'm like, hey, I think I have then I'd probably bring it up like that, but it wasn't very often. A lot of the times it was just like finding people who were on the show and be like, hey, I have a brick for you.
Yeah.
Like, let me not forget to give this to you, because I did think in my mind, like, hey, I have to literally text people. I'm like, hey, Holly, I forgot. Did I give you a brick or not? So
do you
like,
have bricks, or do you still have some left?
no, I think we wasted like a good third of what I had.
Good.
So I ordered a lot.
Like if you do come on the show, you do get a brick. A custom printed that Shy coordinated completely, paid out of pocket for, since
my bad.
We don't make a dime. Thank you for listening.
Hey, but we do plan on making some in the future for everybody else.
Yes, we'll do something different. I think it'll be nice to have something identifiable for listeners and something identifiable for guests. That would be nice.
But in that same notion, though, it's like that exchange of like gifting, like if even a simple signature interaction, like, because even when I give bricks away, like I asked for a signature, and the shock of like people are like, can you write your handle on this piece of brick? Even though they don't make content, they're like, you want my signature? Why? I'm like, dude, I don't care who you are. You interact with me. Can you just sign my brick, please? Like most of the time, I always make that disclosure. By the way, I didn't come up with this. Sans did. I stole it from him. Whatever. So like, so it's listening, because I do say that. But like that interaction of like exchange of something that's not a conversation is like another thing that was like, I feel like I kind of didn't like appreciate at the time until after it was over. You know?
Yeah, it looks like a good like icebreaker, and it's like a good kind of, you know, like it's a good exchange. I like the way that you said that. I'm curious because like Sans and I were going through like some family stuff, and so we weren't like as accessible as we normally are. So like, you know, if for some reason people were like, oh, Claire had like really bad RBF, it is genetic, but it wasn't intentional if that happened, but like, you know, and I was mostly stressed because I was coordinating eating issues for 15 people, children. So
multitasking, if you will.
No, I felt stressed out pretty much the entire time I was there. So
you were like stretching yourself thin between your family and your friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was very, very
I don't know why you had decided that you were going to do content during that time.
Yeah.
That was silly.
Well, you know, like I was there, might as well. And then like, but not only that, the whole, what really threw a wrench in all that, aside from, you know, all that kind of stuff, is I was selected to like nominate for the voting process, and
I saw that was ridiculous.
I was like, oh my, like, so I wasn't part of the judging team. I was part of the nominating part of the judging team.
He just buys a lot of Black Falcons. Like, why?
They didn't give me that. I didn't get the castle. They knew what I did, so they were like, no, you're gonna do humor, dioramas, and realism. I'm like, how boring. Okay, so like, but the convention's set up in a way that it's not set up in categories. So you're literally like combing through, and you find something.
How did you get to? Who knows you in Brickworld's like organizational thing to be like, oh,
a judge knows me. A judge knows me.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, it wasn't Brickworld. It was a judge for Brickworld knows me. So she needed help. She knows who I am. She's like, hey, can you just help me with this? I'm like, sure. I think it'll be a fun experience. Regretting it while I was doing it. Those judges, like, because the nominators were still going until like 9 p.m. The judges didn't leave until 4 a.m. Saturday morning.
Have you thought about learning how to say no as an adult? This is a skill that must be learned.
It's not always a negative thing.
Claire's right. I'm very like in agreement to people like asking for help. But no, for sure. Like that, if I didn't have to do that, I felt like I would have been as stressed out as I was, because like, you know, trying to support your friends like with their stuff, and then like, you know, people wanted to film other things. I'm like, okay, and then like the judging part, and then I still, you know, I had to work a little bit, like actually work So I did bring some of my work with me, and then try to make content. And then the worst part is like my family is also there, and they wanted to go to Chicago like a couple times. So having to drive back in that week traffic, like back and forth, was not fun either. So like, yeah, and I don't know how much weight I lost. Like I just walking back and forth, like through the whole thing, like just going back and forth. Like I'd end up in the in one of the rooms, and he'd be like, "Hey, we're in Tek's room." Yeah, I'm gonna stay here for another like 10 minutes, and then I'll walk that way. Then you go to Tek's room, and we're down by the lobby. But I just got up to the 7th floor, or whatever. But either way, although stressful, like I still wouldn't have traded it. Like at all. It was great. I had a great time, and like I know a lot of things happen, and Claire like is definitely one of those people who like stuff happened and still try to make it work. It was still a great time, and I'm happy that like everyone who went, like I haven't heard one negative thing about it. I don't know if we ever will, but you never know.
Yeah, I mean honestly, like it was there was like a death in Santa's family, and so he had to like, luckily we were in Chicago very close, and so he could quickly hop on a flight and go. But also like it was kind of like a reminder as to like why we've worked so hard to have, or why specifically I've worked so hard to have financial stability, is for this kind of, it's quite literally this reason, is to be able to just not even think about it and buy a plane ticket and go. Yeah. And having that like expendable income. It's not to buy like $900 worth of Lego, which we did do, but it's also it's to do that. It's to have that ease of when something happens that you don't have any regrets. You can go say goodbye to that loved one or whoever it is, and afford a cat sitter for this psychotic cat over there. But like who's sneezing.
Nice. Very nice.
But you know, it was just like it was a very like strong reality check and reminder. And it was also, honestly, for Sans and for me, it was a great place to be when something quite crappy is happening. You know, it's like sometimes it's not always the best to like sit and wallow for too long. Like having your friends around you and the hobby that you like is a good shake up, and it's like a good space to be in. So
Well, we were in the pool on the last day, and we were doing like best times and worst times, and obviously like meeting Claire, meeting Sans, meeting everyone was like such a big, like I planned to go. It was just convenient that Chicago was also like a convention. Like it was going to happen at some point this year that I come over and try to see as many people as possible. It made sense to pick a Lego convention. But yeah, like it really, really sucked. And it was the worst part when Sans had to leave, but it was also the best time when he come back and he was like around good. I'd like to think he thinks he was around good people and that kind of picked him up and stuff. So yeah, it was a harsh reality that you can be having the time of your life. And it's really bad. But I think it's a testament to the friendships we will built up over the last couple of years. If you come back and you felt comfortable around and could sort of carry on as normal, or just take him away from it. So I don't want to speak too much for him, but yeah, it was nice to have him back for sure, and still experience the same level of Sans that you would know and expect for the most part.
No, yeah, I definitely felt for him. It was noticed for sure that he wasn't there. Definitely noticed, but like I really wasn't expecting him to come back. But it wasn't. The thing is with that is that it wasn't just noticed by us, obviously, because we all knew, but like so many other people noticed. Like we're Sans, or I saw Sans on the way out, or whatever. It didn't look good. I hope he's okay. Like, you know, there was a general sense of concern, which is a testament to like
the community.
Yeah, it definitely, like, we genuinely do care what happens to each other, even though we barely meet in real life. Like, we see each other all the time. We talk all the time. We communicate all the time via any social media platform or an actual phone, if that actually happens, which is a rarity. But it does happen. But still care that you're going through something, and we want to be there for you regardless, in any way, capacity, or form.
I think it humanizes people on a really grand scale, because you do see like either a face behind an avatar or like just a handle or whatever, but then like people actually care and care to ask and were concerned, or like concern on his behalf. So like I said, like Claire said, absolute testament to the community, especially when you know that he's not always the most pleasant person to be around.
You can catch fans in his vulnerability, like when he's actually very sweet. Savor those moments because they outweigh any negativity that you might hold against him. Because
and it won't last long
more. I'm gonna clip this and post it up. He's definitely not gonna like that.
It's lucky he doesn't watch this podcast.
No, he doesn't. I know he's secretly listening. He just won't ever admit it. No.
Claire's like, no, he doesn't.
He doesn't watch this. It's fine.
Not even at 2x speed? Skipping?
No, never. I don't.
Only his episodes, maybe?
His episode? Yeah, maybe. His 4.
Yeah, his own episode, maybe. He's probably like hounding the comments still. He's probably going back to those episodes being like, any new comments added?
Oh, his Joey episode? Okay.
The Joey one?
But,
okay. I mean, ultimately, I think the convention was great. I think, like, it's definitely going to hype up this for next year, for sure. But anyone who is thinking about a convention, I would, like I said, recommend to just figure out where your friends are going and just go to that one, regardless of the convention type and what it is. Because that's going to make or break your experience.
Yeah.
So, like, don't focus on being like, oh, everyone's going to go there. Like, go. Like, just go to where your friends are going and you'll have a good time. So,
yeah, I agree.
So, how was the United States for you? Because it was also the first time you showed up to our, because you are a red coat, and like, how was that experience?
It was my first time experiencing America outside of Disney World. So I ventured out into Orlando for like a day, maybe, to go to one of the local malls when I've been in Disney. So yeah, it was interesting. We spent a bit of time in Chicago. I like to have spent maybe a little bit more time there, but it's just the way it was with people coming in, and the traffic was like a huge blow. We didn't get to spend loads of time in there. But Chicago as a city, I think, is absolutely beautiful. Like, I really, really liked it. The boat tour we did, which was on Claire's recommendation, the architecture boat tour, was really, really interesting. It was really nice. The AC, it was so hot that day. The AC was very, very appreciated on the inside of the boat by the bar. That probably made me get a few more drinks than I would have intended at like 2 p.m. or whatever it was. Or no, for a bit later than that. But no, it was a really, really nice city, and in a lot of ways it did remind me of London quite a bit. Very, very busy. The big river going through the middle of it, obviously, as well. But no, I really liked it, and I'm looking forward to exploring more of America. Like I said, only really one day of like cultured activity, I guess. Or maybe even an afternoon, because that was sandwiched between like a Lego store and a Bricks and minifigs. But no, I enjoyed it, and like I said, I've always, when I was growing up, I always thought I would like move and live to America, like live in America. I thought it was the place I really wanted to be. But I guess now, looking at it from a bit more of a mature head, I need to actually experience what America's like. Because as a 13, 14-year-old, and you go to Disney World and everyone's really lovely and everything, you're like, oh yeah, I could picture being here. This could be great. Like Disney World every day, yeah. But yeah, so I'm excited. But no, I very much enjoyed Chicago. And I would happily go back and spend plenty more time there. But what are your guys' opinions on Chicago, I guess, and like, what have you guys all been there before? I think
it's my first time.
Yeah, okay, and what were your kind of thoughts, and like, how does that align? Like, I guess for me, like, how does that align with either where you are, like where you live in California, or just like other places? Like, how do you rate it?
I mean, as far as Chicago is concerned, I really can appreciate the size of it. Like, it is huge. It's like downtown LA or downtown Los Angeles does not even come close to the skyline like of girthiness of like tall buildings like literally everywhere. But one thing I like my wife and I caught, like we're like driving, getting lost, trying to get out because of all the traffic. We're like, it feels the same in every block. Like there's different classes walking around of like, you know, people like as far as income, jobs, whatever, they all mesh. There's not like, you know, a rundown part of the city versus a really, really high end part of the city. It's like a continuous like thing that just keeps going. And like when we did the skyline thing, like the glass wall, like the glass thing on top of the Sears Tower. Did I get it right? And I was gonna say Willis, but I know Claire was gonna get pissed. So like, so when I was up there, you can literally see like how vast the whole city is, and then like how far the suburbs go. I feel like, you know, if maybe we had like one more day to like together just kind of explore it, we would appreciate the city as a whole together. I mean, I think it was pretty cool. Like when I was going back through that footage of us walking down the 4 or 5 blocks to the river, I feel like we walked by a lot without really stopping to like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, whoa, that's like when I stopped to just film you guys walk by me, and I'm looking at you guys walk by me, obviously in that shot, but then behind that, the whole scenic like rows of buildings in that angle where it just keeps going, it's like I'm in like awe, like just looking at that, because the only other comparison would be what, New York, as far as like buildings upon buildings like that, like with historical like texture to it.
I mean, New York is like that. San Francisco has a lot. Like downtown LA is kind of dog crap.
No, it's dog crap.
Downtown Seattle's better.
But those cities though, I see sky. Like San Francisco, I see sky. If I look at your skyline, I could easily see blue. But if you go back to that image, it's just buildings. You know what I mean? It's just like we're in the heart of it. Like we're by the river, so we're in the very center. Of it.
No. So I mean, there's definitely like different height there for sure. Yeah, I mean,
My only problem is that there wasn't really much coffee spots where we were staying. I was like, I can't do this. Like Venus is watching me like scratch like my neck. She's like, you're just gonna have to go to Starbucks downstairs. I'm sorry. I'm like, okay. But you know, the food was great.
Just like travel with like your own French press or something.
Well, that's my other thing that I like doing when I go traveling, is visiting new coffee shops.
Yeah, but you're in suburban Chicago. Like, what are you doing?
Hey, I find coffee shops in the middle of nowhere. Like literally, we'll find in the middle of nowhere. Like I found stuff on the way to Milwaukee.
Yeah, of course. Milwaukee makes sense to me. Yeah. Milwaukee has like a foodie scene and stuff like that. Yeah, for sure. I just imagine Chicago would be somewhat like. We weren't in Chicago. We were in Schaumburg.
No, we were in Schaumburg, but no, Chicago did. There were definitely a lot of coffee spots there. So I was like, oh, okay, fine. Like, drink my coffee. But you know, Chicago in itself, like being a first timer, I think I want to go back and I want to experience more of it, because like the 2 days that I got to do it was not enough at all. But like any large city, I don't think it would. But you got to experience the Target though, right?
I did. That was an amazing experience. That was great. Walmart was great. Emily's going to be posting a vlog on my experience of that. That was fantastic. Barnes & Noble. Where else did I go? Oh, I can't remember now.
All our American classics. There we go.
Yeah. Oh, me and Claire did a Whole Foods. Oh my god, me and Claire were so excited.
I did a Whole Foods.
How was that?
So good. Lex was there, like carrying around this shopping cart of me and Claire just throwing loads of stuff in, and I think he's just like, "What am I doing here?" But we were having the best time. That was good fun.
Seeing stuff that you could eat on shelves that was like super accessible and stuff was probably great.
Yeah, it was, and like you said, we ate like really, really well. And that was one of my concerns going over there. I had come like quite prepared with some like meal shake things that I had, but again, Claire came through and provided good food for a lot of it. And I think I lost a couple of pounds actually with the walk around the convention and eating well. So
definitely
done well. I felt so good for the like. Usually you go on a holiday, especially any of my experiences in America going to Disney and stuff, you come back because you've just had fast food the whole time and you feel like sluggish and horrible. But I felt great. It was really good, and I was drinking a lot as well, which definitely doesn't usually happen. So yeah, that was good. It was a good experience.
That's right. I forgot Lex went with you. Was there also.
Yeah. I mean, Lex, it was cool.
It was because he's like the person that I mean he's one of the first people I would have interacted with, but obviously hasn't been around all much. He's got like school and he does like loads of other extracurricular sports and things like that. So yeah, super busy guy. So it was really, really cool just getting hit. Like his dad was super cool and super chill with us, like dropping him off at the hotel. He'd hang around with us all day, come explore and stuff. So yeah, it was nice. Really amazing getting to know Lex as well.
No, yes, Lex was cool. I was not expecting that, and I'm happy that he was with us.
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
Can we talk about how good Lauren is at golf?
What? Okay, so we've got a phrase in the UK. I don't know if you guys have it as well. It's like when you turn up to something in like a group setting or whatever, and you turn out to be like really, really good at it, and we call them a bandit. But you don't. It's when you don't let anyone know how good you're going to be at something when you go and do it.
We don't say that, but I like it. It makes sense though.
We say something like that. What is it like?
Sleeper? I mean that's what you use for cars, right?
I know it's like hustler,
like a sleeper cell. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a sleeper.
Yeah. Absolute golf bandit. She's there. It's like, yeah, just got taught by professionals. There's no biggie. Like, all right, thanks. Or literally, she was just sending them. I was like, oh, okay.
No, because we had this dude to the left of the whole whatnot party just whacking them outside of the whole like thing, which was starting to piss me off because I was like, what if somebody was walking on the other side of that and you just hitting them because they're coming?
It was just machismo crap, and the sound was awful. It was also like unpleasant to be around, and it's like they obviously like couldn't see where they were going. They're just like
just hitting it really, really hard. But then you have like Lauren like just coming in like swinging the golf club, just
making it look so easy,
looking at like the finesse and like cleanliness of like her technique with it was so much more pleasant to watch than the dude to the left who just checked it out.
Damn.
You know,
flex.
Like that. I mean, that's why like I just had to talk about that because I was not expecting that at all. I feel like she didn't even say it. Like she may have said something like, "Yeah, I used to play a while back. It's been a while." Like I could have sworn she said 8 years, or something like that. I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." So you kind of know what you're doing, and then boom, boom,
I'm a bit
and like after another.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, I don't want to play anymore. I'm just gonna watch. I'm just gonna sit here and get my free 2 drinks and just I'll find these like guac and like chips. But like like, and that's another great thing about this whole like overall like experience is like watching us be who we are outside of what we project ourselves to be here. You know, like I would have never known Lauren did that at all.
Yeah,
but that happened like multiple times, like in different like Tek. I didn't know you ran. Even though we only ran once, I could have swore you did mention about the whole marathon thing, but I totally forgot about that. You know, and then one of the things I wanted to do was run with Martin, and that just didn't happen because why? He drank too much the night before.
Yeah, so, which you wouldn't have put with Martin because he's such a good runner.
Yeah, so, like oh, you do like to drink, and not only that, he stole my drink 3 times.
Damn, that's
and
gangster.
Did not care. He didn't care. He's like, oh, it's good enough for you. It's good enough for me. I'm like. And then you came up with like that's the most British thing. Like
yeah, that's literally the most British thing.
Little
bit mind sweeping.
And I'm like,
what cojones right there?
I'm like, all right, I'll do whatever. I'm looking around for the red cup because I'm the only one with the red cup. Everyone has that black one, and you just see Martin talking to Ryan with the red cup, and I'm like, bro.
He's got that smile though, hasn't he, Martin?
I know he smiles and I'm like, okay, I forgive you. That's fine. You're cute. You're good.
That's like a Jedi mind trick.
He's so charming. You're like, okay.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I guess I owe you a beer. You could have those 3 drinks. It's cool. We're out of rum. The rum's gone. Now what? But I mean, to close it all, Tek, like, what do you see yourself coming back to Chicago again? Like if you were to choose one more, and that would be your convention.
Yeah. So obviously the big question for a lot of people is Virginia or Chicago. And from my experience in Chicago, obviously I've never been to Virginia, and I would like to do it one day. But from my experience in Chicago, and in some cases like lack of experience of actual Chicago, for me, I am very much leaning towards doing Chicago again next year. because I'd like to see a bit more of the city. I'd maybe come in a day or two earlier and get a bit more done because I only did 6 nights.
Only 6 nights.
I did only. I mean, for a Brit to travel more than like 8 hours on a flight to only do a week is kind of is not usual. Is quite unusual. But yeah, so I would maybe spend a little bit more time, and I probably would have had I not been doing Glastonbury this weekend as well. Like that played into it as well. But yeah, no, I think. But again, it circles back to what we were saying earlier. Like it's the people. So if no one's going to go to Chicago next year, then I'll do something else. I'll go somewhere else because I want to go where the people are. The people are what made this convention, and it's the same I've experienced with any social thing I've done. It's the same with festivals that I've done before, concerts I've done before, parties I've done before. Like it's the people that make it. And you can be in the biggest dive, or like just the worst place. But if you've got the right people around you, you're gonna have the greatest time. And that's exactly what happened in Chicago.
That's 100% true. That's like what I live by. Like it's not where you're at; it's who you're with.
Exactly.
And that's I mean, not necessarily closing thought, but like that's something that I just kind of forgot about right now. Is even with just us three, with Claire, Ninja, and myself, like. All 3 of us are in different parts of California. Obviously, Ninja and I are closer than going to Claire. But we definitely made an effort to travel to ensure that we physically can high-five each other. And Chicago is a hardcore grander scale when there's so many people coming from all over the place, making a financial effort, taking away time and money to go to this one rally point. And you can really appreciate that energy. You know what I mean? Especially someone like you or even Holly who came from the other side of the planet.
Yeah.
You know, it's different for people that are close by, but for you guys to like want to invest into that, it's very telling of the overall community. This is like a hardcore feels episode. Hardcore. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sure you'd ask Holly the same thing. Like, okay, yeah, it was a decent amount of money, but that doesn't even cross my mind. Like every penny that I spent getting there, while I was there, like whatever, I would do it all again in a heartbeat. I'd do it all again tomorrow because it was those kind of experiences and those like meeting people for the first time is just, it's invaluable. Like you can't put a price on that. So yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, I'm looking forward to next year. I'm hoping maybe to get over to America before the end of the year. That would be really, really nice again. But yeah, we'll just kind of see. But yeah, Chicago is in the diary for next year, and I'm hoping to bring more of the UK gang with me as well. I'm gonna persuade a few more people to come over.
More Green Street hooligans.
That's it, exactly. More of the Green Street, right?
Like, dude, when I grabbed that video from you, I'm like, oh, that's the description. Oh, yeah, that's it. That's perfect. He's the leader. He's Charlie Hunnam. He's Charlie Hunnam for sure. So,
such a good reference. I love that.
You would love it. So, all right, Claire, you want to wrap this up?
Yeah, I mean, you did a pretty great job, Shy. No, but overall, Tek, it was so special to meet you. It's so great to actually have you on Cali Brick Clique so close after too. It was like good timing. I don't know if that was intentional on Shy's part, but it's great having you here. And I can't wait to see you again. I can't wait for our next convention. Mine is tomorrow, so I'm excited. Just going to Brikx by the Bay very quickly, and I'll hopefully be meeting Kate.
Perfect. Awesome.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. I love all that music.
Peace. That was great. That was such a fun one.
It was. It was deep. It was good.